Hi guys, this is Spartan765. Today we're doing a comparison of 3 shotguns. One of them isn't here, obviously. These are just a comparison of the 3 most popular shotguns out there in the market for tactical purposes, reliability, stuff like that. 3 shotguns we're going to be discussing today is the Winchester 1300, 120 Ranger, and 1200 series. This is a custom build, so it has a 120 Ranger receiver, 1200 barrel, cut down to 20 inches cylinder bore. I custom built this whole thing here. And this here is a 1954 Remington 870 Wingmaster, custom put to a cut down shotgun. I got it for only 170 bucks because the front part of the barrel was all crushed in. It used to be 30 inches, now it's shorter, but it's a workhorse. As far as quality goes, as with most American gun manufacturers, and today, sorry to say this, with most, not all, quality was better back in the older period. Currently, sad to say, I hate to say bad things about Remington, but you compare this 1954 Wingmaster or any gun made earlier is going to be a little more better than the new one, generally. You know, you compare this to the even the Expresses, not so much the Wingmasters, because the Wingmaster is still really good today. But as far as the Expresses go, the old 870 Express Generation 1 is way better, in my opinion, than Generation 2. But the Remington 870 is one of the most durable shotguns in the world, and most reliable. As far as ease of use and a very smooth action, silk smooth action, and pumping that pump fast, I would definitely go with my Winchester over the Remington, just because it has a speed pump action in it, which is unique to Winchester shotguns, locking lugs, so you can pump that thing really fast and that action is just silk smooth. You hold that up, you push the button, it drops all the way down. But as far as, and don't get me wrong, the Remington 870 has a very smooth action compared to your Mossberg 500 series. Their actions, I've spent time with those. I hate Mossbergs. I don't hate them. It's just I wouldn't buy one over either one of these two, because I've had time with the Mossberg and their pump, their action it's kind of rattly. It's cheaply made. The parts look like they're just poorly machined out. It has an aluminum receiver that looks like a piece of shit. Winchester's got an aluminum receiver, but it's a proof receiver. Each one is inspected and has to have a special amount of aluminum and other minerals in it, and each Winchester receiver has a stamp on it. So the Winchester aluminum receivers are very finely made and very durable. Very durable. But steel is stronger than aluminum, obviously. But the advantage of this here is this only weighs 4.5 kilograms. It has a 6-shell side saddle, 8 shells in the tube, 1 in the mag, 4.5 kilograms. Fully loaded. This here itself, just as it is, weighs about 3 kilograms. So it's a little heavier, I'm going to say. You know, if you had this and that, this would probably weigh here around 11 kilograms, 10 kilograms, or no, not 11 kilograms. Probably about 5.5, 5.5, somewhere in there. So it'll be decently heavier because of the steel receiver. But then again, if you're looking for, if I had to pick a shotgun that I had to go with and I could never clean it, you know, nothing, it had to last me forever, there I'd probably go with a Remington 870, just because the steel receiver. And you could, the way I have this thing set up, you could run over the truck and it'd still work. I mean, I got that walnut pistol grip there, it's taped over professionally. Walnut grip, I did this job, by the way. This here is built like a tank. These older 870 Wingmasters, they'll outlast any shotgun ever made. You know, because they're overbuilt, they're really nicely built shotguns. The Wingmasters Remington makes now are really good still, but their Express model, their basic Express model, you can buy like a hunting Express, has a kind of, I don't want to say hard to cock handle, but the pump action isn't nearly as smooth as a Wingmaster. Even the older Expresses, you know, the first generation Expresses were better than the second generation Expresses, in my opinion, as far as terms of build quality. But don't get me wrong, the Express is still a good shotgun. I'd still take it over a Mossberg 590. 590s are a little better than Mossberg 500s. 590 is a little more refined version. The military uses that along with the 870, and the military in some forces use the Winchester design, the 1300 design, Defender design. The military does use all three of these shotguns. The ones that the military has, the 1300 Defender, are obviously ones that have been purchased up to 2007, but they still use it because it's an extremely dependable design and will last and last and last. And you know, there aren't too many problems you can have go wrong with a Winchester or a Remington. Or for a matter of fact, one problem I've heard with Mossbergs in a 590, it's a good shotgun, but the receivers, I don't like the way the receivers are made. They're not quite as durable. The metal isn't quite as thick as it is on the 870. And the way their feeder is, I've heard stories, never happened to me personally, but their feeders, how they're just they're cut out like that and they just pop up. I've heard stories about the feeder actually cracking right in the middle there and breaking. Yeah, I don't know. As far as, you know, Mossbergs are an okay build for a starter shotgun, something you're not going to need to depend on a whole ton. The 590 design is reliable, don't get me wrong, but that's like, the 590 would be like the M16, this is like the AK-47. Yeah, it's reliable to a point, but in the end, round per round, you take it out and you shoot several thousand rounds without cleaning it, this will prevail over the Mossberg. So will this one here. With a Winchester, my 1200 hunting shotgun over there, shot about 1,000 rounds without cleaning it in one day, shooting trap. Worked just perfect. Not saying that Mossbergs couldn't take 1,000 rounds, I'm pretty sure they could, but I'm just saying in general, you'd be able to shoot more rounds with this and this before it would malfunction, break, without cleaning it. Your Mossberg would go first, just because of the way the action is designed. It's kind of a harder pumping action, and the Maverick 88, which is the dirt cheap one, is just a pile of shit. I would never ever buy a Maverick 88. They're just crap. But I know this is kind of sounding biased about the Mossberg, but I was gonna buy a Mossberg, but this was, you know, I could have bought a Mossberg for like $200 bucks. But I mean, I'd spend more and get a Remington, you know? It's just the fact that Mossbergs, I don't understand, you know, they say they're made in the US, but they're not made in the US. The parts are all made in Mexico and they're assembled in the US. They're not made in the US, which is kind of sad, you know, in my opinion. But overall, Winchester's a great design. They got a great design with their speed pump. You can pump that thing fast. Silk smooth action. Silk smooth. You know, you can drop it. You push the release button, hold it vertical, just drop straight down. Remington 870. It's got a smooth action, but not quite as smooth as the Winchester. And still, that has a steel receiver, so that's each advantage and disadvantage of these two shotguns. Kind of cancels each other out. So they're both pretty much equal, I would say. This has better features, like it's lighter, the speed pump action, but this has the better features that it's steel receiver and steel receiver. It's just a little more durable. Personally, the takedown procedure, field stripping, I would have to give that to the Remington. I do feel that the Remington is easier to strip. All you got to do is pop that barrel, put that halfway back, pop the barrel off, push the shell, cartridge interrupter, and slide that action off, pop out 2 pins, pull it out, you're done. Winchester, you got to take your barrel off. Well, then you got to pull out. There's this little ejector, the cartridge ejector, or the shell ejector. You got to pop that off the pin, pull that out, and you got to pull the slide out, or you got to push the slide back, squeeze the slide, pull the slide off. Then after that, you can pull the bolt out. A little more of a process of the Winchester, but not too bad. Only about an extra, probably, I'm going to say 30, 45 seconds of work to take it apart. Not that much. Mossbergs, same process. You drop the trigger group out, and they take about apart about as much time as a Winchester does. But as far as ease of taking apart, Remington. So these two are about equally matched. Their disabilities and advantages cancel each other out. So really you could go with either or. But I know I'm going to get shit about giving the Mossberg crap, but that's just my opinion and from my own experiences and others' experiences I've heard about. If you got any comments or questions on this video, you can feel free to send me a message. Spartan765 out.